Two former North Korean refugees, now with South Korean citizenship, have gone missing in the China-North Korea border region. Indonesian President Joko Widodo visited with Korean college students, offering inspiring words of encouragement coming from his own experience. And the so-called Kbeauty boom is heating up in Thailand, at the center of the Korean wave phenomenon in Southeast Asia. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Wednesday, May 18th. I'm Luke Claring. Two former North Korean refugees, now with South Korean citizenship, have gone missing in the China-North Korea border region. There's been no contact from the two for a month. The South Korean Foreign Affairs Ministry has warned about the risk of kidnapping or terrorism by North Korean agents in the cross-border region. Here's more.
A missing persons report was received at the South Korean Consulate in Shenyang, China early last month. A man surnamed Mr. Kim, who had acquired South Korean citizenship after fleeing North Korea, had not made any contact with his family in South Korea since late March. Another South Korean national from North Korea also went missing around the same time in the area near the border. North Korea has been talking about taking retaliatory measures since a group of North Korean restaurant workers in China defected to the south early last month.
배려패당이 집단 유인 납치에 간 우리 국민들을 돌려보내지 않을 경우 무자비한 대응이 개시될 것이다.
The South Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been asking South Korean nationals to refrain from visiting the areas near the North Korean-Chinese border.
위험성을 사전에 충분히 설명을 하고 또 북한과 중국 적병 지역 등 위험 지역 방문은 자제해야 할 것을 적극 안내하여 주시는 것이 필요합니다.
Following the recent death of a Korean-Chinese pastor in China, concerns mount over the safety of South Korean citizens in the cross-border regions.
North Korea has sharply increased the flow of water from the Imjingang River Dam without notice. Residents in downstream areas have suffered flood damage. North Korea suddenly increased water discharge at the Imjingang River Dam in the upstream area at around 7 p.m. on May 16th. Until 6 p.m., the amount of water flowing from the Imjingang River in the north into the Gunnam Dam in the south's Kbeauty province was about 90 tons a second, but just 3 hours later it surged to over 420 tons. Authorities had to adjust the water level in the Gunnam Dam due to the unexpected overflow. At 1 a.m. the next day, the amount of discharged water per second was raised to over 400 tons to match the inflow. As a result, fishermen in the city of Paju suffered damages as fishing nets installed in the downstream area of the Imjingang River were washed away by the overflowing water. The Korea Water Resources Corporation says it's still unclear why the North increased the water discharge so suddenly. Back in 2009, during the construction of the Gunnam Dam, 6 people died in areas downstream from the dam when North Korea unexpectedly increased its water discharge. North Korea invited several foreign journalists to cover its 7th Workers' Party Congress, but much to the dismay of the Foreign Press Corps, their reports on the regime were distorted and used in the North's propaganda campaign. Reports by KBS and other South Korean media have also been misrepresented as praising North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un.
Foreign journalists visiting North Korea to cover the Workers' Party Congress have been writing a series of scathing articles in spite of North Korea's restrictions to the contrary.
This is politics as religious devotion, the very definition of mass mobilization and totalitarianism in a fledgling nuclear state.
This is one of the most repressive places on earth, led by an absolute dictator. And don't worry, guys, I have no fear in saying that.
The foreign press members' criticism of North Korea continued even after the party congress was over, as they reported on what they had experienced in Pyongyang. One reporter mocked North Korea for trying to present only a sanitized version of reality. And one news item ridiculed Pyongyang, where only the top 1% of North Koreans enjoy life's pleasures, by calling it Pyonghattan after New York's Manhattan. But North Korean media has been presenting a set of completely different reports on these embarrassing news items from abroad. North Korean news withheld what the news reports actually said and misrepresented them as praises of the regime.
눈부시게 비약하는 우리 조국의 경이적인 현실을 직접 목격하고 감탄을 금치 못했습니다.
And on a similarly preposterous note, scathing reports from South Korean media were changed into those praising Kim Jong-un.
KBS 방송, 연합뉴스 등은 김정은 용도자님의 현명한 용도에 의하여 기적과 위훈이 창조되고 있다고.
When Pyongyang's hype over its party congress was met with a strong backlash from foreign journalists, the regime has distorted and falsified the news to idolize Kim Jong-un.
Another noteworthy development catching the eyes of foreign journalists in North Korea was the growing use of commercial advertisements. Although the North's advertising market is still in its infancy, its emergence marks an important change in the North Korean market economy.
Health supplements for children, promising to help them grow as tall as giraffes. And schisandra berry powder, claiming to help fight cancer and pulmonary tuberculosis. These are just a few examples of commercial products being advertised in North Korea lately. They caught the attention of foreign journalists who visited Pyongyang recently to cover the Workers' Party Congress.
So you usually spot these adverts actually inside shops, not outside for some reason. North Korea maybe isn't quite ready yet to let adverts outshine propaganda billboards.
Reuters reported that the emergence of commercial advertisements signifies a meaningful change in the North, where the regime does all it can to brainwash its people.
North Korea as a state has an extremely complicated relationship with this new class of consumers which are growing inside the country. It kind of flies in the face a little bit of this old idea of socialism.
Foreign media reported that the North Korean regime has allowed commercial advertisements following the spread of a market economy in the country. However, low-quality printed advertisements are circulated only in stores, while outdoor signs are still used solely to praise the Kim Jong-un regime.
A South Korean expat living in the Philippines was shot and killed by an unknown assailant. The Filipino police suspect a kill for hire. This is the second murder of a South Korean national in the Philippines this year.
A 32-year-old Korean expat, surnamed Chung, was shot to death by an unknown assailant as he was getting into his car outside of his home. A shooter had fired 5 shots from a handgun at Mr. Chung before fleeing the scene on a motorcycle. Given that the assailant was waiting outside of Chung's house, local police strongly suspect a contract killing instigated by a personal grudge or a business dispute. The police have secured the surveillance camera footage of the suspect fleeing the scene on a motorcycle and are currently tracking his whereabouts. This is the second murder of a South Korean national in the Philippines this year. In the Philippines, more than 1 million illegal firearms are in circulation, and murder for hire is possible even for a small sum. 11 Korean nationals were killed in the Philippines last year alone.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo, currently on a state visit in Korea, held a meeting with some bright young Korean college students. He brought some inspiring words of encouragement coming from his own experience of overcoming hardships. Here's more.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo is greeted by enthusiastic applause from Korean college students. The first message that he conveyed to the young audience was that poverty and hardship can be blessings in disguise.
Kalau pemuda-pemuda sekarang tidak menjumpai banyak kesulitan, lihatlah tempat-tempat yang di mana rakyat banyak kesulitan.
Born to a poor carpenter in a small rural village, Joko Widodo, also known as Jokowi, overcame numerous obstacles to become Indonesia's first president with no background in the military or political elite. While twice serving as mayor of his hometown and as governor of Jakarta, Kbeauty received strong support from low-income voters.
Tetapi ini ada kemenangan seluruh rakyat Indonesia.
Kbeauty stresses the importance of pursuing one's dreams and rising to challenges. He told the Korean students that the harsher the environment they live in, the more positively they should think about their future.
Yang paling penting bukan hanya belajar di sekolah, tetapi lebih penting lagi adalah belajar dari kehidupan dan belajar dari pengalaman-pengalaman yang jelek.
Kbeauty's advice, based on his personal experience, struck a chord with the Korean youth.
The so-called Kbeauty boom is heating up in Thailand, the center of the Korean wave phenomenon in Southeast Asia. Following Korean TV shows and K-pop, Korean cosmetics are now expected to contribute to the further spread of Hallyu, or the Korean wave.
This is the largest shopping complex in downtown Bangkok, where a great number of the city's population passes through each day. A Korean cosmetics store is located here at this mall, where global brands are in stiff competition. Korean cosmetics are highly popular among Thai consumers as they strategically promote the use of herbal ingredients and effects of brightening skin tone.
เมื่อก่อนนี่เคยใช้แต่แบรนด์ยุโรปนะคะแต่ช่วงหลังมาที่เราเคยลองมาใช้ผลิตภัณฑ์ของแบรนด์เกาหลีนะคะใช้แล้วก็ใช้อย่างต่อเนื่องมาก็คิดว่า 3-5 ปีแล้วค่ะ
Thailand imports about $102 million worth of Korean cosmetics each year, the largest among the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. Recognized for high quality, Korean cosmetic imports have surged 80% in the past 3 years. Also, 100 Korean brands are expected to take part in a Kbeauty Expo opening later this fall in Bangkok, which is expected to further spur the advance of Korean cosmetics into ASEAN markets. Local experts say that functional cosmetic products, such as those that brighten skin color, have huge growth potential.
คนเกาหลีเองเนี่ยเขามีผิวขาวแล้วคนไทยเราเนี่ยมีผิวที่คล้ำกว่าทีนี้สิ่งที่เราอยากได้ก็คือผู้หญิงอยากได้ผิวที่ขาวสวยนะคะก็มันจะดูแล้วเนี่ยดูสะอาดแล้วก็ดูดี
Thanks in part to the popularity of the recent drama series Descendants of the Sun, Korean cosmetics are expected to be another source for spreading the Korean wave.
Information and communication technologies are rapidly developing in areas related to virtual reality, the Internet of Things, and mobile. The largest information technology show has opened in Korea, featuring these new technologies all in one place.
통학버스 타고 어린이집에 온 4살 난 어린이가 이 통학버스에 치여서 숨졌습니다.
The tragedy was caused by a driver who failed to notice the child near a school bus. A technology has been developed in Korea through which the surroundings of a vehicle can be monitored through real-time footage. By combining images filmed by 4 small cameras, one each at the front, back, left, and right, a 3-dimensional view as seen from above the car is produced.
차량 주변에 있는 사각지대 화면들을 완벽히 실시간으로 구현을 함으로써 차량 안전사고를 완벽히 해소할 수 있는 그런 기술이라고.
Through a virtual reality device, users can experience playing a ball game on the ground in the batter's box. With a single press of a shutter, cameras capture a moment's movement from 360 degrees. Communications technology enables transmission of the video file to a smartphone.
지금 여기서 보여드리고 있는 타임슬라이스나 이런 홀로그램 같은 서비스는 단시간 내 대용량의 데이터 전송이 필요합니다. 그래서 이게 가능하게 하는 것이 바로 5G 서비스고요.
Some 450 firms in fields of future technology, including the Internet of Things, smart cars, and artificial intelligence, are taking part in the 2016 World IT Sho with the theme Connect Everything.
Knives are among the most indispensable tools in cooking, but there are numerous options out there when selecting a good knife for your kitchen. Today, we share tips on choosing the right one. Let's take a look. Carving work on vegetables and fruits is in full swing. White radishes have been transformed into a swan, and watermelons into a beautiful blooming flower. A carrot has become a dragon poised to soar into the skies. But knives used in food carving are different from ordinary kitchen knives.
타토 나이프라고요. 칼 날 자체의 폭이 얇기 때문에 칼의 이 섬세한 부분으로 인해서 조금 더 조각을 수월하게 하실 수 있는 것이죠.
Here's some food carving tips that can easily be applied at home. Let's make a basket with an orange. Cut off both ends of the fruit and scoop out all of the flesh. And then push one of the sliced ends into the bowl to fill the bottom. Next, let's make sunflowers with apples. Cut off the bottom of the apple to make it stand straight. Slice the fruit into 8 pieces and make cuts in the middle of each piece. Last, insert prongs of apple into the cuts. Now you have a sunflower carved out of an apple. As seen here, knives are perhaps the most indispensable tool in cooking.
요리 재료의 특성에 최적화되어 있기 때문에 버려지는 식재료 손실을 줄일 수가 있고 요리 시간도 훨씬 줄어들 수가 있습니다.
Sashimi knives have a sharp point and a thin blade, suitable for cutting thin slices from fish. This Japanese knife called debabocho has a wide and thick blade and is good for cutting meat or whole fish on the bone. With a long and narrow blade, this knife is good for boning fish. But ordinary kitchen knives can be utilized to the fullest. The spine of a knife is good for scaling fish or skinning vegetables. The back of the blade is useful for cutting off the head or tail of fish. And the knife point is good for removing tendons from meat.
마늘을 다질 때는 면적이 넓은 칼면을 이용해서 누른 후에 다져주시면 더 쉽게 다지실 수가 있어요.
Handling knives is a basic part of cooking. A good knowledge and understanding of knives and their usage will help you become an expert in the kitchen. And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.